Then I just realised that I was muted. So the first few seconds of this thing is just being... it's just of nothing there. I humbly apologise. I'm the Big B82 and this is my Let's Play of Star Trek Online. This is part 84 of my TOS era Tactical Officer. We're about to undertake the mission Sunrise, which is the first mission, as you can see, in the Future Proof story arc. We're going to go and investigate a star that seems to be examining an accelerated stellar life cycle. It's on the verge of death, so I'm going to hail for the mission and then we will get underway. And apologise for the nothing in the start of this, because I didn't realise my mic was muted.
With the war over, it's time for us to rebuild, to take stock of our situation, and to return to our roots as explorers. We've recently noticed that a star in an unexplored system near Ferenginar has become unstable. There's nothing to indicate any change to its stellar life cycle, so this is a perfect opportunity for us to chart the system, investigate the star, and improve our understanding of what's happening. I want you to head up this investigation. Find out why this star is suddenly dying, and make sure it isn't going to be a threat to any nearby worlds or systems.
So we shall accept the mission. Oh. I skipped my first officer there. We've received instructions to pick up a stellar phenomena scientist, a Cardassian scientist by the name of Tenora Saval. She is currently at Deep Space Nine, and we can beam her over when we aboard the station. Okay. So let's approach Deep Space Nine. It won't take us very long to get to that star system, thanks to the unique slipstream drive that the ship's got. So let's beam aboard the scientist.
Thank you for the pickup. I'm Tenora Zaval. Let's get started. My preliminary observations show some kind of unknown stellar problem. This unexplored system near Ferenginar is undergoing solar death. Basically, it's as if the star is going out suddenly, but there's no good reason why. We need to get close enough to take some readings and see what we can figure out.
I see. Helm, depart from Deep Space Nine. I'm enjoying doing these, and so I'm hoping that you're enjoying watching these, even though technically I'm repeating everything over and over again. But it's nice to get a perspective from a different officer, you see. Some missions it is different, some not so much. Now you can see it's quite far away, but because this ship has this, which is a cylindrical quantum slipstream drive, I go 10 times faster for a lot longer. Of course, I'll be using this ship for this story arc, and then I'll change the ship. Shut it off. So we're approaching the unknown system. And let's begin Sunrise. We're riding system about 0.5 AU from the star. That's astronomical units, in case you're wondering. So still no indication of what's causing the stellar decay. Detecting only gas giants in the system, no sign of rocket planets other than the occasional moon from these Jonovans. Those are J-type In universe, it's J-type gas giants. In I think in astronomical terms, in real life, I think it's. So I think gas giants go from class 1 up to class 4. I'll check it. Directing only we're a little outside of optimal range, but we could get better resolution on sensors if we nudged a few kilometers closer. Let's move in closer, get some readings of the star, and see if we can figure this out. Conduct scans. Initiate scan.
Getting swamped with solar radiation. Try reducing the gain on your sensors.
Narrowing the EM bands.
Initial results don't make any sense. The star's core reactions are failing, but it still has so much mass that it should be conducting fusion. It's as if it suddenly decided that it was no longer going to do hydrogen fusion, just heavier fusion processes.
Let's collect some stellar particles and see what we can find. See if we can find any clues of more detailed analysis.
This kind of matter is ejected during corona events. We should be able to collect some with your ship's ram scopes if we head to one of the ejection zones.
Okay, I'll read that in a second, but it is up to gas giants go up to class 4. Jupiter and Saturn are class 1. But in universe, in Star Trek terms, they're J-type. If it's Genovan. We've set up a plot location where we can take examples. It's always the last one you look at.
Results are coming in now. This still isn't making any sense. It's as if the star's life cycle was suddenly accelerated somehow. But it never went through an expansion cycle. There's no good explanation for this yet. Maybe something else in the system caused it.
What if this phenomenon affected other bodies in the system as well?
If this is system-wide, we should find evidence of similar problems, with nuclear and chemical reactions in the system's gaseous bodies. There's a large amount of gaseous stellar matter further from the star. We should have no trouble checking that hypothesis.
Set a course for the next closest body in system. Yes, J class. 40%.
This is very strange. Usually nebulae are massive clouds between star systems. Finding a micronebula in system like this is quite rare. This may be the result of an event such as a cosmic string, shearing through a gas giant and turning it back into particulate matter. I'll need some more readings to know for certain.
Determine the best places to scan for this information.
All the particulate matter will make your ship's sensors unreliable beyond a few kilometers, and shields will be offline. The best we'll be able to do is to check small areas until we get close to something unusual. We should head to where the deionized particle density is highest.
Switch to short range scanners. Reading deionized particles, icy fragments, trace amounts of icy materials, picking up some low level distortions, possibly from impulse engines. Another ship may have been here recently. Keep searching. If there's another ship, we should be able to know. We should be able to see if they know anything. I'm not sure what's going on with my ships. Let's look at the shields down. Readings indicate agitated particles and possible energy surge, something heading this way. Volumes. What are they doing this volume 7? How rude.
Data is coming in now. Nothing unusual coming in from the nebula. But those Tholian ships were quite far from home. Unfortunately, they can't give us answers. Looks like there's some heavy ionization on the far side of the nebula, though. As if it's receiving some kind of reflected radiation from one of the gas giants.
Set a course for that gas giant. There's a large asteroid ring around this gas giant, sir. We're reading a few metallic asteroids and some low-level radiation. Maybe some additional clues, but nothing concrete. There's a lot of small debris moving at high speed here. Nothing that we can't clear with our weapons. But just need to make sure not to miss. Helm, stand by for evasive maneuvers. Set course for the largest radioactive asteroid. Yeah, that's the red dots. This asteroid is mostly silicate with small deposits of iron and magnesium, nothing particularly special. On to the next asteroid. This asteroid has some zinc, copper, cobalt, plus traces of tungsten and mercury. A bit uncommon, but doesn't give us any clues. Another asteroid. Large amounts of nickel, some titanium and uranium, lots of silicon. Here's something interesting, sir. This asteroid's been excavated along one side. Looks like someone's used a primitive mechanical probe to crack a part of the asteroid and remove some of it. Low-grade warp signatures, nothing sophisticated. Someone's been here, but probably not with the kind of technology that could explain this stellar problems. Let's get closer to that gas giant and its moons and see if we can find any other clues. It's getting more and more interesting, isn't it? Plotting an optimum location for scanning the gas giant and its moons should be on the display now. This is interesting. We're picking up several moons around this gas giant and some of them are habitable. Admiral, I'm picking up com traffic. One of these moons is inhabited. Why didn't we pick this up from outside the system? There are thousands of background signatures in space, many from civilizations we haven't encountered yet. Since preliminary long-range scan, this system showed no N-class or L planets. It seems that nobody thought it would be inhabited. Our computers just classified these signals as ambient background until we were right on top of the transmissions. Universal Translator is updated now. Any signs of starships or bases? A few minor orbital facilities, significant industrial infrastructure, 8 billion inhabitants. So, picking up a few low-power warp trails. Nothing the size of a starship, maybe a handful of probes. There's evidence that we've come across an early warp-capable civilization. Let's conduct a few scans. If this is a warp-capable society, then we make first contact. We don't want to seem hostile.
Greetings, unknown vessel. This is Administrator Kumar K. Please provide identification.
This is Admiral Vinky Sean of the USS Ticonderoga. I represent the United Federation of Planets.
Welcome to Lucari. Visitors here are rare, but we're always gratified by the chance to meet and exchange information with travelers. I regret that you have arrived at a difficult time. You may have noticed that our home star has become unstable. I'm leading a project to try to reignite the star. Unfortunately, we've already suffered severe disruptions, and we have a lot of problems to tackle right now.
You've had visitors from other species?
Yes, we've previously had contact with the Zenkethi and the Ferengi. We've heard a bit about the Deferi and the Breen, but they haven't ever been to our system. Our home world provides for all of our raw material needs, along with a few mining outposts around the asteroids and the gas giant. We've never had a compelling need to engage in space exploration. And now that our sun is going out, we're scrambling everything we've got to see if we can find a solution or a way to evacuate at least a few of our people.
On behalf of the United Federation of Planets, I extend greetings and hope for peace and mutual prosperity between our people.
I am honored to have the chance to make first contact with your people. My people have had little contact with other species, but that could change if we discover that we have mutual goals and interests. Of course, if our star goes out, this will also be last contact.
My ship is part of a larger fleet. We have an advanced technology and we may be able to assist you.
We have a solar probe ready that contains the booster module that needs to be fired into the star. It's capable of warp 2. There's a problem, though. The probe's remote navigation systems don't work. All of the interference from the solar flaring and guttering is blocking the signal. Could your ship get a trajectory plot so that we could set a pre-programmed course?
We'll look into it. We can use our astrometric computer to plot a course. Stop. The adjustments. What adjustments do you want to make to the probe trajectory, sir? Point 1 should be an elevation of 9.85, minus 9,850, and it's currently 9,800. It should be 9.4. So it's up to 400 and done adjusting now. Elevation for the first point is good. Angle for the second point is good.
We're getting your telemetry now. I'll have my engineers prepare the probe. Let's see if this works. Nothing to worry about, just the future of my planet.
A whole position for you to launch the probe.
The probe's made it out of orbit. Engaging secondary boosters to head out of planetary range.
Probe engines are hitting full burn.
It's gone to warp.
We're tracking the telemetry from the probe. Its guidance system.
The probe is arriving at the solar corona. Deploying chromodynamic boost. No effect. It didn't work. Repeat. Well, it didn't work. That was our one shot. Thank you for trying to help. I'm not sure what to try next. Maybe we can evacuate a few people. I'm not going to give up. But the situation is grim. If your people can offer any other help, we would welcome it. But I just don't see a way to relocate 8 billion people in the next few hours.
We're not necessarily out of solutions. We might still be able to find a way to reignite the star. So an unknown vessel is entering the system. Small, but can't get a reading. Read through its hull. Yeah, very strange readings from this ship. Can't read the interior at all.
My name is Caldano. Looks like I've arrived at the perfect time. I'm here to help with the problem with this star. I'm a scientist, and I have some specialized knowledge that can help.
Interesting. Do we tell him he's going to die? It's Nice to meet you, Cal. Your help will be appreciated.
With apologies for the interruption, this is my home star. My people are the ones at risk here. If you have some way to reverse this process, my people should be involved.
Agreed. Since no other solutions have presented themselves, we should at least hear him out.
All right, I'm willing to do so, but it will take me a little while to get a shuttle out there. As you might imagine, things are a little hectic over here right now.
Don't worry, we won't need a shuttle.
You won't be able to get a lock on my ship interior due to the subspace manifolds. I'll go ahead and bring you aboard.
Ready for transport. She is right though, we kind of like saying, hey, well hey, you want to save this planet? And he's like going, wait a minute, it's my fucking world. How dare you? Deep Space Nine's not far away, could have evacuated 8 billion people. Just wouldn't be able to put you anywhere.
Welcome aboard. I'm Caldano.
You moved me here without crossing the intervening space. You have quantum teleportation technology.
Yes. We call it a transporter. It has a limited range, but it's useful for going from surface to ship.
Impossible! This ship's interior is massive, even though it's no bigger than a shuttle.
My ship uses compactified subspace folds. It's bigger on the inside.
Right now though, we have a bigger issue to handle. Straight to the point, Admiral.
This is all quite overwhelming. This Caldano person is another stranger from somewhere else. And you're here to help with our dying star?
Yes, we came to investigate the star and now we're involved.
Oh. Yes, I suppose I can see how a star suddenly dying might attract someone's attention.
Normally my people are explorers and we would open declarations to engage in first contact, but this isn't a normal situation.
It's an odd coincidence. We'd probably never have met if it weren't for the trouble with the star. My people have never really had any desire to go exploring out there. We've sent a few probes and met a couple of neighbors, but we're happy at home, and we have what we need, so why risk it? I guess this crisis answers that question. The galaxy is bigger than us, and to survive, we need to look past just our homeworld.
United Federation of Planets makes exploration peaceful contact with new species one of its primary missions.
It sounds like you have a lot of experience in meeting other kinds of people. Maybe if we survive this, we can take the chance and learn more about each other. To talk about what we might have in common and what we have to offer.
I'm sure that my people will want to open relations. Your experience here will make you a natural choice to participate in these discussions.
What can I do to help? My home is at risk. I want to do something. To be involved in solving this problem.
Stay with Cardano. This is his ship, so he can probably explain it best.
Welcome to my ship. Don't be alarmed. This vessel is from the 31st century, and it has some technology you may not recognize yet. I can assure you, though, that I'm here to help.
That explains why we weren't able to scan through your ship's hull, or how you're able to have technology that can repair a dying star.
Correct. I'm associated with the temporal division of... Well, let's just say that I'm an ally from the future, and I'm here to save the Lucari star.
So this involves changing the time screen. I've had about enough of it recently.
No, I'm trying to prevent changes. Someone's tampered with this star. It's not supposed to die out here. The Lucari don't disappear today, at least not if we have any say in it. I have some technology that can help, but we'll need to rework it in order to repair the star's fusion processes. What I need you to do is help me align this matrix to match the star's original spectrum.
Could you explain it in more detail?
This matrix can adjust quantum induction fields, but restarting stellar processes isn't its normal use. This task should be simple. Go to each console and adjust the intensity of each color spectrum in the mix. When you have the right mix, the matrix on the center console should match the original color of the star.
Got it.
I'll regulate the device's main power state from this console.
The Toxu Tot. Current wavelength is 575. I need to decrease it. So, while scanning, I've got some data on Cardano. It's a little surprising. He seems to be a hybrid of human and Vulcan with a small amount of DNA from the people of this world. Apparently, at some future date, these people, the Lucari, have a stronger tie with the rest of the galaxy. So he's not just protecting the planet, he's protecting his own ancestors from annihilation. This actually means he's probably more reliable. Let's finish repairing this star.
Sounds like whoever tried to destabilize the Lucari star has decided to come knocking. Let's see who... They're packing a real wallop! Shields just went down. We have incoming!
Weapons ready, prepared to repel borders.
What are those things?
Folians.
Folians! Keep them away! I need to finish these computations! I have the device shielded in a force field, but I can't deploy it until these folians are out of the way. Shields are back up! They shouldn't be able to get any more boarding parties over.
Well, that was fun.
We've got a breather. Now I just have to charge the device and prepare it for use. In just a few minutes, it'll propagate a quantum wave shift that should correct the star's stalled fusion process. You should head back to your ship, and I'll send the administrator back home.
Yeah.
The device is charging. We should be just a few minutes away from repairing the star now.
Standing by.
Give us the TOS, mutant. You will surrender. The TOS is had or you will be destroyed.
One more time. Star.
Bloody phones. Oh, bollocks.
Capacitor's full. Firing in 3 seconds. Activating your rejuvenator.
It's working. Look at the star. Check the speculation. The fusion process is working. And it's returning to normal.
Readings are stabilizing. The shockwave should barely noticeable by the
Some of
Lucari.
those ships have just arrived at our home system. They're attacking our homeworld. We don't have any way to repel starships like this. Please, help us.
On our way.
Please, you have to stop them. We don't have any warships or space weapons.
I'm on my way. Bloody hell. Calm down. Calm down. Relax, you live longer.
Tholians have managed to get my ship in a web. I need your help.
Are you from the 31st century?
Stolen my one space inhibitor.
That sounds like a bad thing.
Thanks for the save, but the Tholians managed to steal the Tox Utot while they had my ship webbed. That must have been their plan all along. My data suggests that the Tholians used a trilithium warhead to destabilize the star. But the amount of resources needed to build such a weapon makes it inefficient, to say the least. No, I suspect that somehow they knew that I'd come here to save this star, and that I would bring the Tox Utot. Fortunately, the Lucari star is safe. However, nobody else will be as long as the Tholians have that device. They could use it to snuff out or destabilize stars anywhere they want.
We'll have to get it back from them somehow, but that means we'll have to figure out the next target.
I have some thoughts on that, but I will need to do some calculations. These events and the Tox Utot itself are tied up in the temporal Cold War. The Tholians may not care, but by using the Tox Utot, they risk distorting the timeline, by wiping out civilizations that are supposed to survive into the future, such as the Lucari. I'll be in touch. At least now the Lucari will have a promising future.
Understood.
Caldano is correct. You have preserved our future. My people will be forever grateful. Not to mention my personal gratitude, of course. I think we have a bright future ahead of us, if you'll forgive my play on words. I am eager to see where it leads.
My
Thank you
people.
once again.
My people will contact you again. We may have many matters to discuss.
I wish I could ask you about your science, your trade, your society. But I suppose there will be time for all that now that our crisis has been averted. Won't there?
First contact with another species is one of our most important duties. Our initial meeting has shown promise for an exchange of culture and knowledge.
I think our friend the administrator here is going to need a ride home. Would you mind? If you'll pick her up and take her home, I'll start looking for more data about the Tholians' plans.
We'll rendezvous with you shortly.
I have collected an amazing amount of information about what happened to this star. Thank you for bringing me along. Once we're back in Allied space, I'll take a shuttle home.
I can take you home. It seems that first contact with the Lucari has gotten off to a reasonable start. Now we have to hope that when the Tholians show up again with the Toxuta, we can stop them from doing anything disastrous. We're ready to leave the system on your orders, sir. Depart the system. By walking into the star. Yeah, let's walk into the gas giant. Fucking hell, why not? Screw it. Right, it's HAL command. The unexplored system will now be known as the Lucari system. A first contact is a significant event for the Federation. We will be glad to open a dialogue with the Lucari people. Unfortunately, the loss of the Toxut Tut is troubling. We've had some reports about the device from when Jean-Luc Picard encountered it on Riser in 2366, and obviously we can't let the Tholians keep a piece of future technology that can stabilise stars, but we'll have to deal with that later. And it's a pretty good set here, the quantum phase stuff. Because the game lets you play any mission at any time, and if you are of course going to play this, I would actually recommend getting the quantum phase stuff. You got 15 accuracy there, and then you got the phaser and still power, 130 state arc, but it's pretty good. There's phaser damage and auxiliary power, which is pretty good for high yield torpedo. It increases blast radius. Yeah, so it is a good set. So I would recommend getting it because you can play Sunrise at any time. Unfortunately, I'm playing them as they were in order. But if you want to just skip it, go ahead. I'm not going to get the quantum phase set. I'm going to get a phase bank because I'm weird like that. So when we return, we will be doing the mission Stormbound. Our intelligence indicates that the Tholians increased Tholians activity in the Naku system. Cardano believes that they're trying to interfere with the Naku star using the Tox Tut. Well, I'm Big B82. Please subscribe. Comments are welcome, and I appreciate any thumbs up. This is the end of part 84.
The treacherous Cha'ula has requested.
We're not doing that one yet. And I will see you in part 85, Stormbound. Until then, ciao for now.